The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power is undoubtedly one of the most anticipated titles of 2022. It's been a long time, but we're just days away from the show's release. Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings trilogy smashed box office records and won many Oscars when it hit cinemas. But it happened nearly 2 decades ago. After a long break from Tolkien's fantasy world, we'll return to it again on September 2nd in a brand new series. So welcome Hobbits to Bag End. Today I'm going to show you everything you need to know before seeing the premiere for Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. First thing you should know, this won't be a direct adaptation of an existing Tolkien novel. However, the creators drew from Tolkien's extensive notes. As one of the showrunners J.D. Payne said, "We feel like we're taking up the gauntlet that Tolkien himself put down. He gave us what we like to say are the stars in the sky that we have to connect and draw the constellation in." Director Wayne Che Yip explains, "Tonally, we wanted Rings of Power to reflect Tolkien's main story points of friendship and good and evil. One of the ideas is, how far into the darkness are you willing to go to do the right thing?" Now, more plot details. For the first time, we'll dive into the second age of Middle-earth's history. The epic drama is set thousands of years before the events of Tolkien's The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. It will be a story about an era where great powers were forged, kingdoms rose to glory and fell to ruin, unlikely heroes were tested, hope hung by the finest of threads, and the greatest villain of Tolkien's mind threatened to cover all the world in darkness. Beginning in relative peace, the heroes will confront the long-feared reemergence of evil in Middle-earth. From the darkest depths of the Misty Mountains to the majestic forests of the elf capital of Lindon, to the breathtaking island kingdom of Numenor, to the furthest reaches of the map, these kingdoms and characters will carve out legacies that live on long after they are gone. The Rings of Power unites all the important stories of Middle-earth's Second Age: the forging of the rings, the rise of the Dark Lord Sauron, the epic tale of Numenor, and the last alliance of elves and men. Until now, we've seen only the story of the One Ring. However, some fans remember that before there was one, there were many. An earlier tweet about the Rings of Power pictured the 5-pointed star-shaped southwest island kingdom of Numenor, an ancient kingdom of men with long lifespans that flourished throughout much of the Second Age until it fell under Sauron's influence. Numenor's ruler, King Elendil, then set sail for Middle-earth, where he eventually founded the Kingdom of Gondor, the kingdom which Aragorn became king of in the final film of Peter Jackson's series. Initially, it was thought that the showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay would be drawing material from the Silmarillion, which contains many backstories to Middle-earth. However, it was revealed in February that Amazon only has the rights to Tolkien's Lord of the Rings trilogy, the appendices, and The Hobbit. This potentially takes much of the lore from the Second Age off the table, but the duo has instead worked with what they've got to tell a compelling story. In one interview surrounding the source material for the show, J.D. Payne explains, "We took all of these little clues and thought of them as stars in the sky that we then connected to write the novel Tolkien never wrote about the Second Age. We worked in conjunction with world-renowned Tolkien scholars and the Tolkien estate to ensure that the way we connected the dots was Tolkienian and gelled with the experts and the estate's understanding of the material." The characters will be both old and new. Thanks to recent announcements, we've now got a better idea about who we'll see strapping on some pointy ears or beard extensions for the series. Many familiar characters will appear. The most notable, of course, is Sauron. We don't know for sure if the guy pictured here is Sauron, but early indications are certainly pointing towards that. Robert Aramayo will play a young Elrond. Robert was a young Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, and more recently, Robb in Netflix's Behind Her Eyes. Going to be a much younger Elrond, but definitely going to be a key piece to the show. Meanwhile, Years and Years star Maxim Baldry has been cast for Isildur, the one who eventually cut the One Ring from Sauron's hand. Joseph Mawle, who also starred in Game of Thrones as Ned Stark's brother Benjen Stark, will possibly play the show's main antagonist, Orin. Welsh actor Owain Arthur from A Confession plays Durin IV, Prince of the Dwarven city of Khazad-dûm. Now, Khazad-dûm might sound familiar because the Fellowship actually traveled through the ruins of Khazad-dûm in the Fellowship of the Ring. They called it Moria. Nazanin Bonyadi from Homeland starred as Bronwyn, a human mother and healer who owns an apothecary in the Southlands. Cynthia Adai Robinson from Power takes on the role of Miriel, a human and queen regent of Numenor. One returning character fans are familiar with is Lady Galadriel. Ooh, did you hear that pronunciation, Larry?
Pretty good.
Initially, the role was played by Cate Blanchett, but His Dark Materials star Morfydd Clark will play a younger version of the character. So lots of familiar characters will appear in the show, though the series will also bring many unfamiliar characters into the limelight. The character posters do not disclose the faces, but fans have speculated that some characters might be Elendil, Círdan the Shipwright, and another vital character appearance and a significant break from canon will occur in the introduction of Harfoots, an ancestral hobbit. Tolkien fans know that hobbits did not come along until the Third Age, so this introduction is possibly a step towards inclusivity in fantasy. Markella Kavanagh from The Cry plays Eleanor or Nori Brandyfoot, while Megan Richards from Wanderlust plays her friend Poppy Proudfellow. Charles Edwards from Downton Abbey will star as Celebrimbor, the elven smith who forges the Rings of Power, gonna be an awesome character. And Charlie Vickers from Medici plays Halbrand, a human running from his past whose destiny is connected with Galadriel's. Finally, Daniel Wayman from Silent Witness plays the Stranger, a character some have speculated could be none other than Gandalf.
What happened, Gandalf? Why didn't you meet us?
Oh, I'm sorry, Frodo. I was delayed.
We can't wait to find out. Now, more about the Lord of the Rings and the Rings of Power timeline. As we've already mentioned, the series won't take place during the period we're used to seeing on Middle-earth. That's because Rings of Power is set thousands of years before The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings during the Second Age. To understand the gap, when Gollum first obtained his precious, the One Ring, it had already been lost for more than 2,000 years. So no spoilers, but the Second Age is the period during which Sauron rises to power. He tricks Celebrimbor and some other elven blacksmiths into forging the Rings of Power, while secretly forging the
One ring to rule them all.
He also builds up his fortress in Mordor and corrupts the people of Numenor. Storylines I'm sure we'll see in this show. Now, speaking of great storylines, one thing that got me super excited about this show during my research was seeing the people behind the show, the writers behind the show. So you have someone like Jennifer Hutchinson, who's from Breaking Bad. You have someone like Jason Cahill from The Sopranos. Executive producer Justin Doble from Stranger Things. Consulting producer Brian Cogman from Game of Thrones. Stephanie Folsom, Toy Story 4. Ron Ames, The Aviator. Helen Shang from Hannibal. All of these people have a spectacular portfolio in writing, and I think this will of course translate into this show. Or at least I hope so. So get pumped, get excited, because this show premieres on September 2nd, 2022, 1 week from today's dropped video. The 8-part series will premiere on streaming the Friday of Labor Day weekend on, of course, Prime Video. First 2 episodes will also be shown in theaters at fan events around the world on August 31st. If you're lucky enough to go see those, of course I would do it. J.D. Payne finishes his anticipation for the show saying, quote, "If people come out of this feeling like they've gone to Middle-earth, that's such a special thing. Middle-earth fills us with hope, and it inspires us. There's a reason why people reach to Middle-earth when they're going through hard times." And this, my friends, is so, so true. I can remember so many times in my life where, say, I was having a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, going through a breakup, whatever it might have been, where I just sat down, turned on the Lord of the Rings extended editions, and went to Middle-earth to unplug from reality and really feel that sense of joy that comes with watching these movies. You know, this is really the most spectacular trilogy ever created, in my opinion, and there's something so special about it that 20 years later, a new show is coming out, and Lord of the Rings is just as relevant now as it was 20 years ago. It's truly special. I'm very, very excited. I hope you guys are. I'm sure you are if you're watching this video. So I really hope that this is informative, or at least is getting you fired up for what's sure to be a great show. But I'm so eager to know what you guys think. What are you expecting from this series? Share your opinion in the comment section, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss an upload, and you can enjoy the excellent content that Bag End sends your way. We're here, we're in our hobbit hole, we're pumping out videos, and I hope that they're informative, I hope they're enjoyable, I hope you get a good little chuckle here and there. If you want a cup of tea, the stove's on, come stay a while, come enjoy. I'll see you guys for the next video. Until then, Baggins out.